Hello guys, and welcome to another Daily Fix with me, Sean Paul Johnston, here at SmallFries Unify. Sorry, just at the start there, the other side of the stream there on also a mixer because I wasn't live there. But anyway, sorry, I thought that was even live there for the first minute. So I'm going to start off, as you guys can see in the background here, Animal Crossing. We basically got news today that there's going to be an Animal Crossing Direct on Wednesday. So it's going to be on the 25th of October at 7 AM, Nintendo. Why so early? So it's going to be before I even get up for work. So I'll probably find out about it afterwards. However, this is going to be a mobile direct. So it's going to be obviously for the mobile app for Animal Crossing, which is cool. You know, it's like I'm all groovy with that. However, it would be really cool to see something from the Switch version because we all know one's going to come eventually. They obviously use the mobile apps and they're using that to kind of bolster the franchise, get in people's minds, and then obviously everyone will want to see those new games on the Switch, which makes perfect sense. So things like Animal Crossing, things like Super Mario, we've obviously got Super Mario Run, we've got Super Mario Odyssey coming, so it works for stuff like that. But it would have been good to see something about the Switch. Maybe they'll mention something tomorrow, who knows. I'm just excited about it because it'll be quite cool to see what they finally got. You know, who knows, it could be a massive success. Maybe not as massive as Pokemon Go because that's ridiculous, but it might be quite a big franchise. Everyone likes Animal Crossing, well, most people. But we have got Stardew Valley now, which I think some people are saying is kind of similar. Never played it, but we'll see. Anyway guys, the main thing I wanted to talk about today was Windows Mixed Reality and some of the confusing information regarding what Windows Mixed Reality is. And it kind of, in some ways it kind of bugs me that this isn't very clear. Now I've been talking to a couple of you guys in the comments on YouTube about these different, like, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. What do they all mean? And I think a lot of people thought mixed reality, including myself, we assumed mixed reality was a mixture between virtual reality and augmented reality. And when Windows announced that they were doing all these partnerships with manufacturers like Asus, with Samsung, all these kind of ones, I think we all thought that we were going to get a virtual reality headset with augmented reality tech in it, that you'd be able to do both of them at the same time. That's not really the case. And I think some people, unless you're actually following the tech, might be duped into thinking they're getting that. A little bit worrying. I can understand why Microsoft's done it, and I'm going to go over some of this here because I've got a little diagram here which makes a little bit more sense. So this is essentially what mixed reality is. If you look at the actual bracket for what it's got there, you can see that we've got the real environment, which is like physical, tangible reality. We then move into augmented reality, AR, which is what we've got on the iPhone and things like Pokemon Go that I mentioned earlier. Then if you move a little bit further, we've got augmented reality, AV it says. Now, augmented virtuality, sorry. Now what augmented virtuality, sorry, as far as I've been made aware from what I was reading about, now I may be wrong in this, so if I am wrong, correct me, but what it is referring to is when you have things like in your virtual reality or in your augmented world or virtual reality world, you can see your real hands in that. So companies like who are using stuff like Magic Leap, where you can use your hands and it tracks your hands. So even though you're in a virtual environment, you can track your hands in that virtual environment, but you can see your hands. So it's like a virtual representation of your physical body in a virtual environment, if that makes sense. And then we've got the exact extreme opposite scale from real environment. We've got the virtual environment, VR, where you're fully immersed in VR, everything's VR. So this is where I think there's a bit of confusion. Mixed reality is kind of a combination between all those things, between the real environment and your virtual environment, where you're fully immersed in a computer essentially. And it's that combination of things like bringing in Magic Leap, where you can see parts of your body, or bringing objects from the real world and augmenting them into a virtual reality environment. So that's what mixed reality is. And as you can see the definition there, it tells you a little bit, so I'm not going to read that. But That's what the definition is. And yeah, like I said, it kind of bugged me a little bit because I was sitting there looking at all these headsets before I was learning this, thinking that we were going to get a headset like the Vive or something like the Oculus Rift, the Vive, but more like the Vive where it's got the camera in it and you can see the outside world, and then you can maybe augment things on that. Now, there may be headsets coming from Microsoft that are similar, and they may actually do something like that down the lines. From what I've heard is there's rumours of something like implementing HoloLens features into a headset at some point through one of the Windows platforms like the mixed reality headsets. But until we see something like that, I think this term's a little bit confusing for the mass consumer. I think if you're following virtual reality or augmented reality, you're into that kind of thing, you'll sort of seek out the information on the headsets, the tech specs, what they're capable of. But that's the whole problem. I think this is where virtual reality and augmented reality really need to kind of clean this up a little bit. I think there's far too many acronyms, far too many buzzword names, mixed reality, augmented reality, virtual reality. We've got time warp, asynchronous time warp, space warp. We've got all these technologies and it's not very clear for the mass consumer. Like I said, I understand it, and I think you guys will understand it. But I think anyone that's into the virtual reality scene or the augmented reality scene is, I think we want to see the technology progress to a point where everyone's using it to make it as best or as good as it can be. And it's only going to do that if it's taken up by the mass consumer. Otherwise, it's going to be a niche product forever. Now, I think we all know that's not going to happen. But I think this is one of the ways, you know, like if you look at companies, I know some people don't like Apple, but if you look at a company like Apple when it was kind of doing a bit better, like I'm not really too keen on it now, but when Apple was doing stuff at its best, it was taking really complex pieces of technology and making them really simple to use for anyone to use, an old woman, an old man, a young kid. You know, anyone could really use that product. Like an iPad, it's easy, simple, you touch, you swipe. And that's where the benefit of that, that's why they've been massively adopted around the world. And obviously other companies have jumped on board like Samsung and stuff with their tech. So that's what's needed with virtual reality. This is why I've been so excited about tetherless headsets, high resolution screens, things like flipping up the screen or having augmented reality built into a screen. And even Leap, what they're doing with theirs, if it's going to be something like HoloLens but even more intuitive to use. That's what's exciting, thinking that we can get to a point where, you know, you pick up a headset, like let's go right to the extreme now. You pick up a pair of sunglasses that's got the tech built into them, you put them on and you can get augmented reality, or if you want, you can go full on and you can maybe put a visor of it to block out the light and you've got full immersion and it will track your hands and everything. Now this is way down the line because the tech's not there yet to track it, as we're now seeing with the Windows Mixed Reality headsets. Thanks to Kimberly, by the way, and everyone else from the Facebook group for the Windows Mixed Reality stuff. What they're talking about is Kimberly's mentioned it, and a few people have mentioned this now, which is really confusing because I'm not really sure how this is working, but apparently the tracking from the Windows Mixed Reality headsets isn't the best. Now, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Samsung's one, but the ones that have come out so far is they're losing tracking when it gets to the edge of the peripheral vision where the cameras can't see it. So it's kind of freezing and locking. So if you're using a pointer, it'll freeze and then it'll kind of snap back in. So that's not the best. Now obviously you can like fix that by having more cameras around more of the actual area where you're going to be moving. So ones that can pick up from below, up high, around the back, and then you can get fully tracked. That's why Vive and Rift right now are still the best headsets on the market, even beating, forgetting the games, I'm just talking about the tracking tech here, probably the Rift's probably even better than all the other ones, especially if you've got the 3 cameras or the 3 lighthouse things for the Rift, whatever they're calling. But yeah, we get to that point where we've got the tracking and it's much better, but the mixed reality ones as well, some people are saying that it's not tracking in the dark, which surprises me because I thought that's the whole point of the actual controllers having the infrared lights on the outside, the constellation lights, is when you're in the dark, it can still see those lights. Now obviously on something like the Rift controllers, the Oculus Rift controllers, they're actually under the surface and you can't see them because our eyes can't pick up infrared light, but the lights are there and the cameras can track them. And I just thought the Windows ones had just made them on the outside, but I'd put lights so we could see them. So there's obviously something there where it can't track those lights, or it's not mapping out the space. Again, I think this is where the tech was a little bit unclear. I thought it was using similar to HoloLens kind of tech where, and I'm sure this was in demos for the Windows Mixed Reality stuff, but it would map out your space. Now it must do that to a certain degree, I don't know, but I thought it would map out your space like HoloLens is meant to do, and it would know where objects are. So it doesn't matter if the lights are on or off, because those constellation controllers, it can see them, it knows the physical space you've got, and it can track it, and it'll know where you've moved, it'll know the orientation and everything. That doesn't seem to be the case, so it's an interesting one, but yeah, it'd be interesting what you guys are thinking about it. What do you think about the fact that this mixed reality thing's a little bit unclear? Was it clear for you? As I said, you're maybe into your VR yourself or augmented reality, maybe you've been paying attention to this a little bit more. Let me know in the comments, guys. I'm going to be reading those comments again, answering the questions, asking you guys questions about stuff. Thanks everyone who's jumping in, by the way, and leaving me comments and stuff, and tell me like what some of the terms of where I'm getting things mixed up with fields of views and 6 degrees of freedom and stuff like that. Sometimes when I'm talking to you guys, I say stuff and I forget, I have brain farts and I forget what I've said. So yeah, thank you for correcting me in the comments and stuff like that. Remember, if you're enjoying the videos, the Daily Fix, go ahead and give me a subscribe if you've not already, give me a like, a thumbs up and all that jazz. And remember, we're just a bunch of small fries trying to create big things, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching.